So why everyone, Sub-Zero, welcome back in another video. So in today's video, we're going to go over ZHUL Doom, which is the best, it's going to be the next season's Legend Pass, and in my opinion, the best galactic monster so far. I don't even know how these guys somehow managed to make a monster this powerful. But I'm gonna stop talking about this for now, and I'll go over the actual monster. So this is the design. It's a very good design in my opinion. The sword is huge, which is, I like it and I don't like it at the same time, because it's a very cool sword, but it's a bit too space taking. Anyways, now we'll go over the skill sheet. Let's start with the stats. He has the lowest life stat in the game, tied with that of Kanokro and Lamuna, I think, which is 139,943. Again, it's the lowest one in the game, but it's not the main worry about for this monster. Then you have the highest by a lot of points, the highest power stat in the game, which has 11,319. The second highest is Kanokro, tied with that of Admiral Copperbeard, which are 11,110. Which is a pretty substantial difference, if you ask me. It's 209 extra points, which is insane. And then he has the highest speed stat for an attacker, which is 8,272, which I think is out of that the one of Kanokro. And yeah, trade-wise, this monster is not too amazing, although has a decent trade, let's say that. He starts off with immune to control. Right now, we have some very good monsters that can deny. We have Giorgelato, we have Teddy Bomb, we have Raris, we have Lamuna, and this monster too, which will be able to deny. And in this case, this monster, it's so good that you should worry about this. This monster is an attacker, but it's incredibly good even as a denier, so yeah, you heard me right. The sword and mask, so yeah, that could be very beneficial. The sword is used for dealing damage. You can run a virus sword, you can run the lore sword, whatever you want to run. I recommend a virus sword because it's pretty good. And then you can hold a mask, which could be any stamina recovery mask, kind of like the Suman's mask or the other Torvex mask, yeah, and that, okay. In the books, he's in the Soul Slayer, in Undead, and Wielders, so yeah. None of these books, apart from Undead, none of these books needed something, so I guess we got a new Undead monster, and he is Dark and Magic, I forgot to say that. Okay, so let's start off with the basic attacks. He starts off with Marvel the Sword, which deals moderate dark damage to an enemy, 40 damage, 0 cooldown, 0 stamina. It's a pretty good skill. Then you have I'm the Destiny, which deals all magic damage to all enemies, 20 damage, 0 stamina, 30 cost. No, 0 cooldown, 30 cost. Kind of like Lord Nebotus, he has these two 0 cooldown skills that you can spam, and I think it's pretty cool. Definitely you could run Marvel the Sword, but this monster has so many options, so yeah. Then you have Shadow's Veil, which applies evasion and double damage to itself. 1 shot cooldown, 38 stamina cost. I don't think it's worth it. Then you have Marvel Whispers, which deals very heavy dark damage to an enemy, applies nightmares to an enemy. So you have nightmares and you deal very heavy dark damage, which is a lot. It's 55 damage, so yeah, pretty cool. Then you got Magic Sacrifice, which applies damage boost itself, removes 10% of life from itself, and gives 1 extra turn to itself. Pretty good skill. We'll see later on why this skill is so good, but yeah, for now I'm saying this skill is one of the must-run skills. Then you have Soul Offering, which deals very heavy magic damage to an enemy, 55 damage, and removes 20% of total life from itself, but applies double damage to all allies. So interesting skill. As a ranked 0, you could run this to, boost your allies. Although it's a 20% life, there's monsters like Kanan 11, which can heal away that 50%, so yeah, 20%. And yeah, it could be used for that, mainly. Then you have Marvel Gaze, which deals heavy dark damage to an enemy and applies fear to an enemy. So this monster has access to fear. Fear is an incredibly powerful control effect. It basically works, it lasts for 3 turns. The first turn, the opponent skips a turn. The second turn, you have 50% of skipping the turn of the opponent. And the third turn, you again skip the turn of the opponent. So 2 guaranteed denial and 1 in the middle, which is a 50%. If you don't land it, it could be on a monster can remove negative effects and a sphere, as an example. That 50% could be the reason that monster could cleanse away the negative effects and, you know, bust down the whole fear effect. But even if it doesn't, it's a 50% chance it does and not, so very good. And then last but not least, you have Marvel Screams, which deals minor dark damage to enemies, applies nightmares to all enemies. 35 damage AoE, 2 turn cooldown, 42 stamina. Applies nightmares to all enemies. Honestly, AoEs are not that powerful at the same time. I don't think it's the most valuable thing, but you want to do that. You want to do with that whatever you want, so yeah. Then we have the most insane skill of this monster, one of the most insane at the least, which is Shadow Ambush, which deals very heavy magic damage to all enemies and applies evasion to itself. Now, let me talk about this skill. 60 damage. This skill is the strongest AoE skill among every mythic monster. No mythic monster can do the same amount of damage in an area skill. This is the strongest area attack in the whole game right now. Knowing that this monster has the highest stat and the highest AoE skill, it's insane to think. Of course, you have Dodge Area on the enemy side, but you can just run Shadonia on the enemy side and on your side to try to disable those annoying Dodge Area monsters, and you'd be good. You can deal so much damage, and it's insane. And you also have 2 strong singles if you need to, and yeah, I mean, that could be something to do. Then you have Doomed Judgment. This skill is insane. Applies fear to all enemies and nightmares to all enemies. So, let's break this down. AoE Fear. That is it. It's incredible how good this skill is. I might be overrating the skill, because fear is just a new effect. Maybe works well, and maybe it doesn't. But the fact that this monster could theoretically both deal so much damage and apply denial for up to 3 turns, it's just insane. It's fantastic. So yeah, I think this is the one of the most powerful skills for this monster. Then you have Existential Sacrifice, which removes 50% of total life from one ally, applies triple damage to itself, and gives 1 turn to itself. Now, this is the skill I was talking about before that has to go with Magic Sacrifice. So you can do Magic Sacrifice, remove 10% of your life, gives 1 turn to yourself and get a damage boost. Then do Existential Sacrifice, which removes 50% from yourself again, and gives you triple damage. So you have damage boost and double and triple damage. And if you have the talent, which is Luthien's Crown, which you will get by completing the Era Saga for Queen Luthien, that talent says if the wearer's life is below 50%, applies damage boost to all allies. Removing 10% and then 50% means you remove 60% of your life, which means that talent will trigger and give you double damage. So you would have the strongest area attack in the game, damage boost, double damage and triple damage, and that's a guaranteed KO. That's not even a doubt. That's so good. And this monster doesn't need anyone to buff them, doesn't need anything, and it's so OP, it's so broken how this monster can work so well. But yeah, it just does. With those skills, you can have basically the strongest attack ever in the whole Social Point Monster Legends history, or probably something near that. So definitely a skill you want to run. And then last but not least, you have Marvel Unleashed, which deals moderate magic damage to all enemies and applies random torture to all enemies. So my recommendation about these monsters, you want, okay, so you want to run, if you want to run them as an attacker, I recommend running Existential Sacrifice, Magic Sacrifice, Shadow Ambush, and Marvel Whispers. Yes, Marvel Whispers, because relatively low cooldowns, good effects, and the fact that you can boost your damage to infinite. So yeah, I think that's insane. Also, if you run this monster with Shadonia, I just realized you can have damage boost, double damage, triple damage, and another extra triple damage onto light monster. So that's That's so good. Okay. Yeah, this monster is definitely top tier. And yeah, you could run him with those skills if you want him as an attacker. You could argue to run Marvel Unleash instead of Shadow Ambush, but I don't really think it's worth it. Next off, if you want to run this monster as an attacker / denier, which is what I'm more interested in, you should run Existential Sacrifice, Doomed Judgment, Shadow Ambush, and either Marvel Gaze or Marvel's Whispers. So this is a combination I just thought in the moment. I want to run this monster in this way to do one simple thing, which is run him with Shadow Nia and Kim Gatum. Shadow Nia goes first, 3 disables and PRs all the enemy monsters. Then it turn transfers onto you. You do the area fear and you have the triple damage against all the light monsters. So the next turn this monster goes, you do Existential Sacrifice and then Shadow Ambush, because there's not gonna be any dodge area monster on the enemy side. And you have triple damage plus an extra triple damage onto light monsters. And with the very heavy magic damage, even without strength runes, you can run this monster full team speed with this combination, and you'd be still able to do 200 from 200 to even 500 damage if you're lucky. So definitely a very powerful combination. And yeah, this monster is for sure, I'm not even putting it out on this, the strongest mythic attacker ever, or like for now, because I said this about Kenecro as well, but I didn't expect to release something this broken. Like this shouldn't be able to exist. Also, I forgot to say this, with the Legend Pass you also get this talent, which after damaging with a skill with Weird Stamina is above 50%, deals X point of dark damage to all enemies. That's a strong damaging talent. And up top to that, you have the secondary effect, which after damaging with a skill, if target stamina is above 25%, applies Nightmares and Possession to targets. Now, that means this monster, or any monster, can apply Possession to the enemies. And it's incredible knowing that, like, the 25%, above 25%, it's realistically gonna happen. So yeah, you can run this on, like, any Cold Blood or Pierce monsters, and you can AoE possess any enemy having Pierce or Cold Blood. I like to run this on Giorgelato with his AoE skill, and you have an insane, incredible skill. And I don't know how it's possible they made this talent and this monster so damn powerful. I can't wait to see how much the damage of this monster would be in the future. And I think that will screw up my routine in the rank up survival dungeon. Nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, because I'm very close to 100 subscribers and I would like to achieve that before the end of the year. If you have any confusion or anything to ask me, just comment it down below and I will answer if it's within 1 or 2 weeks. I will try my best to read the comments if there are. And yeah, that is it. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.